Hey guys, welcome to a brand new video. This video is just on keeping guppies versus platies. I hope you guys enjoy. Alright, so any aquarium should be properly cycled before adding new fish. Here's a picture of the nitrogen cycle. First, you see here the fish, it eats food, which then poops it out. And that poop is going to basically make ammonia, which will then get oxidized into nitrites and nitrates. Out of all these three, ammonia is definitely the more toxic, and I would recommend you guys to get a freshwater test kit. Test for that. Alright, so the general info on guppies is that they originate out of South America, but are found all over the world due to introduction from aquarists. They also come in many colors and varieties, and are also considered a live-bearing fish. These fish tend to have the trait of overpopulating a tank just because they're so prolific. Platies also originate from South America, but some are found in North America. They also come in many different colors, and their size ranges from 1.5 to 2.5 inches, which is a little bit larger than the average guppy, which is at its adult length 2 inches. Here's a picture of it here. This is just an orange and black variation. Some of the environments on guppies and platies are that they prefer tanks with lots of plants, which means more hiding spaces. Driftwood is optional and will help soften the water to regular freshwater environments. And they generally both like a temperature around 70 to 80 degrees Fahrenheit, or for those who use Celsius, which is the rest of the world, 21.1 to 26.7 degrees Celsius. And the picture down below is basically a really nice planted tank, and you can see some neon transistors there. Also, plants will help the babies of platies and guppies survive because they tend to predate on their young, which is kind of sad. Alright, tank size. Two guppies would live nicely in a 2.5 gallon, and I recommend for each additional fish you should add 2 gallons. Some people might argue with that. That's just my opinion. As long as the water quality is great, then they should be fine. And since platies are a little bit larger, the recommended tank size is 5 gallons for two. And generally you want a bigger tank, which means that the ammonia, the nitrites, and nitrites will disperse in the water column, and it won't be as concentrated. And also, lots of plants will help the nitrates to be processed more efficiently. Right. So for filtration, I would recommend a sponge filter out of all these four, just because they won't suck up any of your fry, which are very, very tiny. Hang and back filters are okay, but you want to make sure to cover that intake with either a sponge or some netting so the fry won't get sucked in. And the reason why I wouldn't recommend a power filter is because of the current that it produces. It's very powerful, and since the fins of some platies and guppies are very long, so they might have trouble swimming. And I wouldn't recommend an undergravel filter just because that it may accumulate waste underneath it and will cause old tank syndrome and basically a spike in ammonia. Food you can feed these fish are bloodworms, daphnia, brine shrimp, and mosquito larvae and fruit flies. And non-live foods are your traditional fish flakes, pellets, and gel food, and also fresh vegetables. The bottom left in the corner is daphnia. You can correct me if I'm pronouncing that incorrectly. They're generally small. They're good live food. To the right of that is bloodworms. They're generally a good source of protein. And here's your traditional fish flakes, so tuna, of course. I'd recommend switching these foods in between each other so your guppies or fish can have the best nutrition. Water changes. This part is really important. So it depends on the stock of your tank. So if you have more stock, more fish in the tank, you have to change the water more frequently. I guess it depends on the system. But generally people want less maintenance. So I recommend stocking your tank lightly with lots of plants, and that will make you have less water changes. And you also need an aquarium water conditioner to basically neutralize any of the chlorine, heavy metals, and chloramines in the water. You can generally find these in pet stores and bottles. It's not cheap at all, and you need it or else your fish will die. Right, tank mates. Guppies and platies are generally very peaceful fish, and there's some sparring between the males, but that's okay, as long as the fins aren't being ripped at all. They can be kept with other non-aggressive fish. You don't want to keep betas with male guppies because the beta can the male beta will see it as a rival. Some foolproof tank mates are snails, shrimp, clams, and frogs. As you can see here, here's just a freshwater clam, a ghost shrimp, which seems to be harboring eggs, and an African dwarf frog, which are really interesting. I want to keep them in the near future. Alright, and thanks for watching. New videos every week. Like this video, consider subscribing. Alright, thanks guys.